At first glance, it barely looks like an animal you expect to find on land.
Its shape can make people wonder whether they are seeing a worm, slug, or tiny snake. And that strange hammer-shaped head makes the mystery even harder to ignore. This is not an ordinary earthworm that simply wandered onto the surface.
It belongs to a completely different group of animals known as land flatworms.
This particular visitor is commonly called a hammerhead worm. But the rain did not suddenly create it, or wash it in from nowhere. The rain has mainly changed one thing: how easy this hidden predator is to see. Land flatworms depend on moisture because their soft bodies lose water easily. When dry hiding places become wet, the surface suddenly becomes much easier to explore. That is why a heavy shower can make them seem to appear overnight.
During drier periods, they are more likely to remain beneath cool, humid cover.
Its glossy coating helps it move and helps protect that delicate body from drying.
Unlike an earthworm, its body is flattened rather than round and segmented.
That broad head is not decoration. It helps the animal investigate the world around it.
Much of its hunting depends on detecting chemical information left by potential prey.
And this strange animal is not grazing on your plants. Hammerhead flatworms are predators, and earthworms can become part of their diet.
When one finds prey, its hunting method becomes even stranger.
The flatworm can wrap around its prey and hold it against the ground. Here is the surprise. Its mouth is nowhere near that hammer-shaped head. The feeding opening sits underneath the body, close to the middle. It can extend a feeding tube and digest food before drawing it inside.
Earthworms are important prey, although exact diets differ among land flatworm species.
Different land flatworms may also hunt slugs, snails, larvae, and other small invertebrates.
Moist nights can give these animals a safer window for moving across exposed ground.
As conditions become drier, shelter beneath objects can become important again. Myth 1. This is simply an unusual slug.
Reality, slugs are mollusks with tentacles. Hammerhead worms are flat-bodied planarians.
Myth 2. Rain somehow causes these creatures to suddenly multiply outside.
Reality, rain often makes animals that were already hidden far easier to notice.
Seeing one can therefore be a clue that your garden is temporarily very moist.
Repeated sightings may also justify checking for persistently damp hiding places.
But one sighting after a storm does not automatically prove that something is wrong.
Instead of panicking, look closely at its shape, color, and stripe pattern.
Bipalium cowansei often appears brownish with several dark stripes running along its body.
Other hammerhead species can look different, so color alone cannot guarantee identification.
Some land flatworms do not even have the famous hammer-shaped head. Precise species identification can sometimes require details that are impossible to see casually. Experts may need internal anatomy or DNA when similar species cannot be separated visually. So an unfamiliar flatworm should never be identified from one dramatic feature alone. Now the ecological question becomes more complicated than simply calling the flatworm good or bad.
Introduced hammerhead flatworms can prey on earthworms and other soil animals.
Those prey species are themselves part of larger underground and surface food webs. Human movement of plants and soil has helped some land flatworms spread far beyond native ranges. Pallium kewense originated in Southeast Asia, but has been transported to other parts of the world. A damp flower pot can become a surprisingly effective vehicle for an unnoticed traveler.
Checking newly purchased plants is one simple way to reduce accidental movement.
What matters most is avoiding transport to new places where it may not already occur. Scientists are still working out how strongly different land flatworms affect different ecosystems. And although this creature does not chase people, sensible precautions still matter. At least 2 Bipalium species have been found to contain tetrodotoxin.
That is the powerful compound famously associated with animals such as pufferfish.
That does not mean touching one guarantees poisoning, but bare hand contact is unnecessary.
If accidental contact occurs, washing your hands thoroughly is a sensible precaution.
Pets and young children should also be kept from mouthing or eating unidentified wildlife.
Myth 3. The hammerhead shape means this animal is actively dangerous to people.
In reality, its ordinary life revolves around moisture, shelter, and hunting small invertebrates.
The safest approach is still to avoid casually handling wildlife you cannot confidently identify.
But there is one mistake that can make this situation far more complicated. Do not assume cutting a flatworm into pieces is an effective solution. Many land flatworms can reproduce asexually when part of the body separates. A surviving fragment can regenerate the missing structures and become another complete animal. So chopping one apart can leave viable pieces instead of solving the problem.
That is why extension guidance specifically warns against destroying them by cutting.
If removal is recommended where you live, keep the animal intact while containing it.
Rules and reporting priorities differ, so local invasive species guidance is the best next step. If one arrived with a plant, avoid immediately moving that plant throughout your garden. Inspect the container, nearby soil, and moist hiding places before relocating it elsewhere. You do not need to dry out a healthy garden simply because one flatworm appeared.
But persistent leaks and unnecessary waterlogging are worth correcting for many garden reasons. The goal is sensible garden management, not turning every wildlife sighting into an emergency.
A clear photograph is often more useful than immediately trying to touch the animal.
Record its overall shape, markings, location, and approximate size if identification matters.
Now return to that strange creature you noticed immediately after the storm.
Its appearance is telling you more about moisture than about some sudden invasion overnight.
The storm simply opened a brief window into an animal that usually stays hidden.
And once you know what you are looking at, the hammer-shaped head tells a different story. After rain, the strangest visitor in your garden may simply be revealing a hidden world.